It is so much better. You can see that when I lift up on it, I mean the tire's flat, but the tire used to just rock up and down. It was really bad. So this thing should be really nice to use. And it's like riding on a new wheel bearing, you know? What's going on, everybody, and welcome back. So in this video, we're going to be working on the snowblower here. This is a Troy-Bilt model number. I'll probably put in the title or in the description, but it is a long time ago, back before Troy-Bilt was owned by MTD. So this is a Tecumseh engine, 8 horsepower, pretty nice unit. I fired it up, fired right up. The guy used to really take care of it, I think. The carburetor was totally dry, so I know he was draining it, no gummed up fuel in there or anything, so I think it's in really good shape, worth fixing. So that's why I ordered these bushings for it. It had a lot of play. If you saw, I had another video where I think I showed the play in the bushing, but I can show you the bushings. This is the one from the side that was okay, and this is the one here from the bad side. So basically you see that one on the left is all wallowed out, actually has a hole in the side of it, so it's totally shot. So I bought new ones and they took a long time to get here, but I got 2 new ones here, and I believe they're the right size. I haven't yet held them up, but I think this should be the right size. They feel pretty good, so I think these are going to be correct. So I got 2 brand new ones to put in, and that should give me many years in the future with this machine, because I'm sure it's pretty old. I'm sure it's been around, so it'll be nice to get it back to what it once was. I already changed the oil in it and all that good stuff, so pretty much ready to go here. Just got to put these bushings in it, and we have new belts to change too, so I got to change belts as well. So I don't know when I'm going to be doing that, but I at least would like to get the wheels back on this thing, and I can move it, or maybe I can either just do the belts at a later date or next time. But I'm going to get to work. I'll show you guys how I'm putting it back together. So it's been a few weeks since I had this apart, but I looked up some pictures I had and I figured it out. So basically you got this shaft, the thicker one that goes in from this side. I banged my new bushings in there. They were really tight. These old ones are way looser. I don't know if it's a new manufacturing thing or if there's a rust buildup or what, but these bushings were really tight. So I ended up sanding them. I had a piece of sandpaper. I was sanding the bushings a little bit, beveling the edge just so I could get them in, and then I whacked them in with this big flange here, and seemed like they worked nice and tight where the axle is. Shouldn't have any play now, and they're really pressed in here nicely so they won't walk around. So I do feel pretty good about these bushings. I got them from Jack's Small Engines, and they were able to get them both out to me, which is pretty cool, for $60. But you know, gotta pay to play. This is a free snowblower, so for me to throw $60 in bushings at it and $20 in belts, I got an $80 snowblower, and it needs nothing. So I'm excited. It's gonna be nice. So I have to put this other gear in here, so I'm gonna get that set up now. But yeah, so basically you got this shaft that goes in through here, and you got these 2 spacers on this side and a roll pin that goes through the spacers here, so, or goes through the shaft. See that hole? This roll pin goes through there, so when you take this pin out, it allows you to pull the shaft, slide it out this way, and then this thing, this flange, goes on to the small part of the shaft here and gets all keyed in with the motor, and, or not the motor, but the you know, the gear train here. It's like there's side gears in there and stuff. I was gonna take it apart and stuff, but I'm just gonna send it. It's been fine for this many years. I'm sure it'll be fine. I like all this shredded belt material down here though. That's great. I got new belts, so I'm gonna try to put those on after. I think it might be easier than I actually thought, so we'll try to do that too. But yeah, so this flange here goes on this way, and you see our bushings press in from the inside. It would be nice if they went from the outside, but they have them going from the inside. That way we got to take the whole thing apart to change them. So I'll put this gear in here. You just got to make sure you orient the chains when you're putting it in. So this one's going to go on the inside, this one here, and this other chain is going to go on the outside. And I'll set that up here, and I'll put the bolt through and through this guy, and we should be good to go. It's really pretty simple once you know, I don't know, if you take it apart and put it back together immediately, it's always easy, but when you leave it for 3 weeks, you're like, How did this go? You know, it's not something you do every day. Snow blowers. So it's cool though. It's fun. I'm learning and I'm enjoying it. Alright, so reassembly is pretty easy. The only thing I still want to do is verify, because there are, when you put this end cap on here with this nut, it's a double nut, and you bolt this, the wheel bolts on with the flange, but this nut is what holds that shaft. You have it, you know, hit with the sleeve right, or I'm sorry, the roll pin right here, but you also have this nut on the shaft holding it, and there's a series of washers and wave washers and stuff to keep pressure on it. And there's definitely got to be a torque spec for this, because behind here is like a clutch disc, and I think there's a certain amount of slip allowed when you turn the wheel. So I think there's definitely a preload or a torque spec on this nut. So I'm going to try to look that up. I don't really care about torque specs, but when there's a clutch assembly with wave washers and stuff involved, I feel like that's important. So I'm going to try to look that up and figure out if that's a thing or not, because I think you know, you want to have a certain amount of engagement with this, but at a certain point you do want the wheels to be able to spin independently when you're turning and stuff like that. So I'm not sure how that mechanism works, but we'll look it up. And now to change the belts, I think all I'll need to do is take this bolt out, and I should be able to just take this off, and then there's a tensioner down here. I gotta figure out how that comes off. I think it's just a spring, and if I pry on it, I should be able to get it off and just, you know, pry the belts off relatively easily. So I'm going to try to just remove this, maybe the jam nut and this bolt here on the front. I don't know if you guys can see that. This bolt on the front is what's keeping, yeah, the lighting's terrible in this garage. I'm going to have to work on that. My bad. Oh yeah, so I figured out how to do the belt pretty easily. So you just, basically you have to pull, in order to get this pulley to move backwards, you pull this lever right here, and this will totally just yank that pulley backwards, and you're able to get that belt to snake through there, and you don't have to take anything apart here, which is pretty cool. I found that out by just pulling on it, and that's what this lever does here. Not sure exactly what's going on there. I guess it's pulling, and that makes it engage. So it's pretty cool. If you pull more, it'll probably have more room, but just enough to get the belt through. And then this spring here, if you unhook this guy, then it allows the belt to fall out of place on this pulley. So we're just gonna get him set up on this pulley like that, and then we'll put this spring back down where he's supposed to be. I might need 2 hands to do this, but oh, no, I was able to get it. So that locked our belt in down there. Now all we gotta do is attach it up front, where we have absolutely no light, and you won't be able to see, but here it is. And if we can come up here and just loop him right around, I'll pry this out like I did before, and we'll get him right around there, and that should be the one belt changed. But I do want to do the other one, so I'm not going to loop him yet. We'll just leave him hanging out here, because we got to get this other belt off still, and I'm going to have to figure out how to get that one off. I think that one should just, if I just push on the tensioner, should be able to get him off, and he should slide through the same little hole there. So let's try that one now. Alright, so you can get the belts without taking anything apart really, other than the bottom shield and the top cover. Pretty awesome. It takes a little bit of finagling, some prying. I pried this tensioner to get this belt off, and you got to take the front one off to get the rear one off and on, obviously. So got that all situated first in the back, and then the front one. This was hard to get around here, so I put it around here first, and then I worked it around the bottom, like the crank pulley down there, and I grabbed it and I would spin it with my hands, help it on this side, because this belt is pretty tight. It's a lot tighter than the other one. The other one just slipped right off, but this one is actually pretty tight. So hopefully it doesn't drag or anything like that. I guess we'll have to see. I'm gonna put it down, and I'll fire it up on a different time when all the oil is drained out. If I have any oil in the piston, I want to hydrolock this thing. It's been sitting upright for a while, so I'm gonna let it sit and, you know, just chill for a little while. I'll probably put the underbelly shield on, and everything's pretty much there. I said other than the wheel torque thing. So it'd be nice to have this thing back on the ground and out of the garage here, and I can maybe park my Accord in here, which will be nice. So yeah, that's pretty much it, guys. I'm going to probably put the belly pan on and put this thing back on the ground for now, and we'll get ready to see if she runs. Probably in the next video here, I'll show you guys that. I might show you my trim work that's drying. But that's pretty much it for tonight. Getting late. Finally able to get the cord in the garage again. Got the snowblower out of here. That thing was taking up the whole bay. And it's nice to know I can fit the tractor and the Accord in here at the same time. I think I'll have no problem fitting the Corvette in here once I bring it over. Just got to get these tires out of here. I got to put these up for sale. They're kind of dry rotted. They're still decent tread on them, but they're dry rotted. I just didn't want to rock them anymore. So somebody's probably more willing than I am. But I got to clean the rest of this garbage out. But at least we got the Accord in here. So I'll show you guys the snowblower all put back together. Still got to look up that torque for the wheel nut. But otherwise, seems like it's gonna work out fine. So here she is in the other bay, ready to rip. So I'm excited to try it out. Not that I want to see any snow, but I think she's gonna be a ripper this year. So that's it. I am excited to try it out. So thank you guys for watching. Hopefully you guys learned something on the belt and or the bushing situation, whatever you're watching for. But it is so much better. You can see that when I lift up on it, I mean the tire's flat, but the tire used to just rock up and down. It was really bad. So this thing should be really nice to use. And it's like riding on a new wheel bearing, you know?